Hello and welcome back to the DoneDeal YouTube channel, and today we're joined by the new Kia Sportage. Now it's come leaps and bounds from the very first Sportage all to here. In fact, this is probably, in my opinion, one of the best looking cars in this segment of the market. But I'll leave that up to you in the comments. Do you prefer things like the Nissan Qashqai and its sister, the Hyundai Tucson? Now, prices for the Sportage start at about 35,500 euros and they go all the way up into the mid 40s. And it all comes down to what engine you go for, whether it's a diesel or you go for a hybrid, and of course, most importantly, the spec. So whether it's the entry-level spec or all the way up to something like this, which is the GT line. Now, we're going to be checking out the specs, the trims, the engines, and of course going for a drive and reviewing the car as a whole for a family. How spacious is it? And all of those things. So make sure to stay tuned, subscribe. But if you'd like to search for Sportages for sale in Ireland, then you can hit the link up there. But for now, let's get straight into the review. Spoiler alert, I think it is a damn good car. In fact, I'm trying to figure out how at the time of filming it, it's only the 6th best-selling car in Ireland so far this year. And yeah, its sister, the Hyundai Tucson, which is also a brilliant car, and you can watch our review up there, but it's #1 and it's sold nearly double the amount as the Kia Sportage. Now maybe this is down to supply. Also, some of the numbers can get a little bit skewed, things like the Gardaí buying the Tucsons. Of course, we're seeing a lot of rental cars, but I am trying to figure out, because if it was me and it was my money, it would have to be a flip of the coin, because both are really nice, and I think this Kia Sportage flies a little bit under the radar. Anyway, let's check out the design. The front isn't my favorite angle. I think it's maybe a little bit too busy. It's got all these different diamonds, different kind of steps. Do like the new Kia logo, and I have to say the lights here, the daytime running lights there, and then the main beams in there. It does look really, really well, particularly in white then when you get these different black sort of accents. Around the side, I have to say the 19-inch diamond cut wheels, they are really, really nice. And I do think, despite it not having the wide arches that we see on the Hyundai Tucson, it still does look pretty good from the side. But it's the rear that just looks so, so nice. So to begin with, this overhanging spoiler, and believe it or not, tucked up away in there is a rear windscreen wiper. Now these lights along here, it's very Kia EV6, and as we know, that won Irish Car of the Year, so people liked it, and I just think there's something very futuristic about this, and I think it sends out a strong message to every other car out there. You don't need fake exhaust to make a rear end look good. There's none here and it still looks great. So as we sit in, watch the seat now. And we're not even in an S-Class. So basically it's got memory seats. So you and your wife or you and your husband can set it differently. And then when you get in, you just press whichever button is for you and you're in your perfect driving position. And the seats are very, very comfortable. And I think overall in here, the quality is brilliant. The armrest is nice and comfortable. Every button you push is good quality. The steering wheel feels nice. Center is maybe a little bit kind of a cheap plastic, but we'll let that slide because the rest is really good. To start it, foot on the clutch, foot on the brake, and you start it up. One thing to note, because I did get caught out with this earlier in the week, is it won't start if it's in gear if you've got a manual version. So from the K3 version, I think it is, you get these two big screens. They're definitely worth upgrading to. They just make the whole car feel a little bit more futuristic, a little bit classier. And actually it's very like the EV6, and they work too, and I think that's so important. So it's fully touchscreen. You can go to your home menu here. It's all quick, it's snappy, and of course it's Apple CarPlay. However, I do have a bone to pick because I can't show you because I've no wire. No doubt down the line it will become wireless. I'm sure that's some sort of upgrade that they can fit, but it does work really well. And then in front of you here, you've all your driving information, whether it's your fuel efficiency, your speed, or any other different things that are going on. And again, these screens are nice. I also quite like this. Now, I'm a little bit old school in terms of my climate control. I like a good knob to twist, and to be fair to Kia, they've done a good job of this. So if I press this bottom one, I have the opportunity to change my AC fan speed or turn it on and off. And then I can also have a shortcut here to my maps, to my navigation, to the radio, whatever it might be. So this system works really well. Now, this is where things get very classy in the GT line. Heated seats, check. Heated steering wheel, check. But it also has cooled seats. We don't get that very often, and it's absolutely class. And then again, it's just all the small things. It's hard to charge your car on the go, but there's wireless charging down here. There's also USB-C, USB, and a 12-volt socket, so the options are kind of endless. And again, simple things, space for a large phone down there. I find I have a Max phone and it doesn't fit in a lot of the phone holders. And simple things like this, drink holder, big drink there, small drink there. Just simple, clever. So as a whole, the fit and finish in here is lovely. Let's quickly check out the rear seats, see how the baby seats fit and how adults would cope back there. Check out the boot, and then we'll go for a drive. So first thing I'm going to give it praise on for the rear is there's these covers here. So as you get in and you rub your feet off the door sill, you don't actually get dirty. And actually space in here is pretty generous, so plenty of knee room, loads of headroom, but it's actually the kind of cool little features in here that sets it apart. So to begin with, USB-C charging points here, shopping hooks, which let's call a spade a spade. I personally never ever put my shopping in the boot, because even with the shopping hooks, it flies around. I always put it in the back seat. So these are actually useful. On top of that, a little bit of storage down here. Electrically heated seats back here. Obviously that is the GT line, but this is also cool. So you can adjust to get it right into the perfect position, which is really nice. You also have two drink holders here. And of course, for any mums and dads out there, there are ISOFIX points, and they're actually really easy to get at. There's no covers, there's no faffing, it's just plug it straight in and it should just click in. So in here, it is really nice, but let's quickly check out the boot. Back here, the boot is pretty generous. It's bigger than the previous Sportage, but not quite as big as a Hyundai Tucson. To put it into numbers, this is about 590 litres. A Tucson is a little bit over 600. So it might not be as big as the rivals, but it's very functional. So to begin with, look at that for a load cover. It just works. And what's more is you can take it out. And I never bother doing this in the review because it's usually a mess. But look how simple that was to do. And then you can actually store it under here. And to continue the functionality of the boot, virtually no load lip. There's also tie down hooks for that shopping that we're never actually going to put back here. 12-volt socket, which could come in handy. But the most important thing, look how easy it is to fold those seats. There's no faffing by going around the side. You just pull a lever and all of a sudden van mode is activated, and it's just a brilliant, functional, easy to use boot. And of course, this being the GT line, closes by itself too. And this is a bit of an experiment. I haven't actually pre-planned this, but does the swiping technique work? Nah, Tinder didn't sell the rights. The entry-level engine for the Sportage is the 1.6 litre diesel manual. That's what we're driving today. It's got 115 brake horsepower and is actually really good. However, I would recommend upgrading to the automatic version. It's also available as a mild hybrid petrol version, which has got about 130 brake horsepower, and that also is available as an all-wheel drive version. Since filming this review, I've been to the launch of the plug-in hybrid version, and I have to say, it's brilliant. The change between the petrol engine and the electric motor is seamless, it's very efficient, and there's a good bit of power with almost 230 brake horsepower. So now for the fun part, what's it like to drive? To begin with, the handbrake's over here, put it in first, and off you go. Now, the moment I got into this car, I did notice something a little bit strange. And maybe it's because I'm used to driving such different cars, but I find the clutch quite unusual. It's quite a late bite on it. It's very, very light, and now that I've been driving it for a couple of days, I've gotten very used to it. But initially when I got into it, it was a bit unusual. Now that said, I actually would advise getting this with an automatic gearbox. It just makes so much more sense for the type of the car. We're seeing more and more cars be sold every year as automatic, and really it will future-proof your car. Then in terms of actually driving, once you're up to speed, it glides along the road quite nicely. It definitely feels very, very tight and very solid. You've got all the driving aids you could ever think of. So you've got your adaptive cruise control, you've got lane departure warning, which is brilliant. In fact, in Kias and Hyundais, they do a very good job of that. When you're on the motorway, they really keep you in your lane very, very well. In terms of other features, there's a really good, clear reversing camera. I have to say it's really impressive. And actually, on some specs, you can get these blind spot cameras when you turn on the indicator. So when you turn on the indicator, it comes up with a little camera here on the digital display showing you what's in your blind spot. Brilliant for parking, particularly around curbs. And I'll actually leave a link to our Sorento review up there, as that car did have it. In terms of power, well, this being the diesel one, it does pack a little bit of a punch, good bit of torque in there. I mean, it's not going to blow your socks off, but it is enough. And steering is very light. You sit in a really nice position, big wing mirrors, and it's just a very easy car to drive. But yeah, as a whole, it is a really nice car to drive. You sit in a lovely position, you've got big wing mirrors either side, and it's just very, very comfortable. And I know I mentioned it earlier, but cool seats on a day like today in the middle of summer, it is really, really nicely appreciated. And really, I don't have anything negative to say driving, except maybe that clutch. It's just a bit different. Is that a nice way of saying it? But as I said, go for an automatic one. It's worth the extra few €1,000, and it will probably help you with the resale value down the line. Another thing I actually forgot to mention whilst you're driving, if you're sitting at a set of traffic lights and you get distracted looking at a billboard or whatever it might be, it actually does a little bit of a dong when the car ahead of you pulls off. Just really nice little feature. Anyway, as a whole, I have to say, I'm a big fan of the Sportage. I think it looks brilliant, it's nice to drive, and it really does just kind of tick all the boxes in that segment. On top of that, you'll probably see this sticker here, 7-year warranty. Now a few of you will probably be like, yeah, but it's probably not good mileage. You can do 150,000 kilometers or 7 years, whatever comes first. That's a really comprehensive warranty, and that's why we always do advise buying from trusted dealerships, because you get that peace of mind. And if you would like to search for Kia dealerships in Ireland, then hit the link up there. But we hope you've enjoyed this review. Hopefully you've learned something from it. Let us know what is your favorite car in this segment, because it is a packed segment. You're spoilt for choice. And if you are considering buying something in this segment, then definitely go down to your local dealer, go for a drive, see what car suits your needs the most. Some people might need the diesel, others might need a full-blown hybrid. And actually, on that note, I believe there is a plug-in hybrid of this coming very soon. That will definitely stir up the game a little bit. Anyway, I'm David OC. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.